Well, hi! Welcome to Lesko Free Radio! Man, I got so much stuff for you today. Yeah, we've never had so much stuff in one show as we do tonight. Listen, I'm going to show you how, if you could be making between zero, that's no income at all, or up to $90,000 and get $30,000 to help pay your mortgage. Right! So you can be making almost 100 grand, they give you $30,000 to help with your mortgage. Okay, or how about this? $5,000 to help with you pay your rent. Right. And if you're a mobile home, you could use it for your mortgage too. Or here's another thing we're going to talk about. If you're running out of your unemployment money, you know, the weekly checks you get from the unemployment office, you could get money to start a business. They'll give you money to live on while you're starting your own business, so you don't have to go out and knock on doors to find a job. You create your own job, and the government has a program give you a weekly check, you know, to do that. Or how about this? Get $40,000, you know, of disaster money when you have no disaster at all. I'm going to show you a website how you could use to find these programs that are really set up for disaster victims, but you could use them too. Almost anybody can. Fix up the house, start a business, things like that. So stay tuned to make sure you find out about that. And we got some great interviews today. You know, we have somebody who's going to tell you about an overseas opportunity called the Bank of the Future. Now, this is a really exciting thing that's happening. It's a fellow I interviewed in London. He's going to tell you about how, you know, the financial community is going to be gone, you know, or going to be shrinking because this new kind of service is going to be available for investors to invest in projects, for entrepreneurs to get money. And he's going to be here in the States soon too to do it. So watch this so you get ahead of the game before anybody else knows it. Then there's another guy in Finland who identifies hot companies in Finland that you could invest in too, you know. Or what also, you could put the company doesn't even have to be in Finland, and you could put your business on this website and get investors for your project there too. So the world is getting small with the web, man. It doesn't care if they're in Finland, in England, or in Jersey City. You know, that's what's so neat about what's happening in our world. Okay, now here's one of the most exciting things I think I've found is that it's a website that shows you how to take your idea or your talent and make money with it, putting on performances all over the country. Right. So maybe you're a singer, or you have a band, or you're a magician. You know, you pull rabbits out of hats or something like that. Or even you play the bagpipes. He's done it for people like that. Or you want to teach, you know, you want to teach flower arranging. Or you're a huckster like me and want to teach people how to, you know, get rich quick or something like that. Well, he does the whole thing for you. He shows you how to get money before you spend a nickel on an airline ticket or on a hotel room to put on the act, or a theater, or whatever it is. And he pre-sells it all for you. It's a wonderful opportunity to spend no money and find out how good your idea is, and fill up, you know, the theaters around the country for yourself. Okay, now here this item too, it's really shocked me. You know, when you watch this woman explain this site she has, you'll really find it interesting because it's in Russia. She's the first crowdfunder who gets money out of the public, everybody around the world, for projects in Russia, and she calls it a social enterprise. Man, when I grew up in the 50s and 60s, Russia was the biggest socialist country in the world. Now they're starting more social programs through the internet, and it's actually for entrepreneurs and to help people in rural areas. So she's really interested in teaching the world about what's going on in Russia. We all need help. Russia does. We need help too, and everything. So make sure you watch her and learn more about what's going on in the world. These are all programs, you know, that will help you with, you know, problems that you created in the past, or opportunities that you could create in the future. That's what this is about. So stay tuned. Watch all these. Okay, now here's a website I really think is just terrific. I mean, it's brilliant in my mind. It's for anybody who has something to say to the world and wondering how to get it out there, and doesn't know anybody who sets up tours and gigs, you know, whether you're a musician or a magician even, or maybe, like they said, they even work with somebody who plays bagpipes, or you have something you want to share with people like me. I mean, I want to tell people about how to get money from the government and things like that. that, or you want to show flower arranging. You want to teach people how to do that. So where is an audience for that? You know, how do you find an audience for that? Do you go and find some fat cat in New York who's an agent, a talent agent, who's going to set up a tour for you, make $1 million, my boy? No, you're probably not that big of a name to do that. And even if you are a small name or whatever, these big companies that do that, they tell you where to go, and they don't really know. Even the people who set up these big tours or small tours or get you speaking engagements anywhere, they don't even know where to go. But this is a website that guarantees you where to go. It costs you nothing. So if you're a band, what cities I could go to? You go on this website and set it up, and you get people who will pay ahead of time before you get there to the city. So then you know what city to go to. You already have 300 tickets or whatever it is. Now with those tickets in your hand, then you can go and find a venue. So you don't have to buy a venue first. You don't have to go on, hey, what cities are the best city for me to go to, to make a speech in or whatever. You find out ahead of time exactly where to go. Who's going to show up? How many people? And you have those tickets in hand. Now you can negotiate. You don't have to lose any money doing anything, and find out ahead of time. It's brilliant in my mind. I'm going to even use it, because I'm not sure. I love talking and things. I'm not sure where to go. What's the best? There's a way to find out, and it costs you nothing, because only till you make a sale, do they take a little piece of the action. So, it's just wonderful. So if you have some kind of talent you want to share with the world, or an idea or a message or whatever it is, you gotta find out about this. It really uses the power of crowdfunding and crowdsourcing and social media and everything that doesn't cost you. You don't have to put ads in newspapers. You don't have to deal with fat cat money grabbing middlemen, things like that. And so even if you do want to deal with some middlemen, you bring tickets, you bring power to the table. That's what this is about, bringing power, and having your own power. And that's what the internet does for people. It's called Gig Funder, a nice young man who started this thing. And so watch him and learn how to take advantage of the power and get the power back in yourself so you could go out there and change the world your way. Watch. Well, Matt Pearson, now I thought you'd be in rock and roll yourself, and this is as close as you could get, right? with Gig Funder. Who really, if you have a band, right, in this country, you go to Gig Funder and use your audience to tell you where your next tour is going to be, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're empowering the fans to take you anywhere in the country.
Wow. So now, if I'm a band, I don't have to rely on somebody who thinks they're so smart and what cities I should play. I learn how to go to the audience. Hey, what cities should I go? The audience puts up the money, and I got the money before I even show up.
Exactly. Yeah. There's so many expenses that go into touring. There's gas, maybe a car, van rental, bus rental.
Hookers.
And then you have to negotiate a split with the venues and prove you have an audience. And Gig Funder makes it easy to get your fans together and recruit new fans to bring you out to your own cities.
So from a fan point, then I could say, hey, I want your band to come to Pittsburgh. You've never been here, and so if enough people in Pittsburgh get it, then you got money in the hand. And then when you got money in the hand as a band, you could go to a venue and get a better deal, right?
Exactly.
Because you got tickets already. Do you want these tickets?
Yeah, and if you're listening right now and you have a band that you would desperately love to see in your city, there's a request feature on our site where we'll let you know when the band signs up if you request them. I
see. So as a fan, I'm not a band yet, but I'm a fan, so I could sign up on your site and find out about when bands or similar bands or whoever are coming to. But also, it seems like what you're doing too is if I'm have any kind of performance or educational art or an executive seminar to how to make money in real estate or even me how to get free money from the government, I could come to your site and use it to find out what cities I should go to and get tickets ahead of time, huh?
That's exactly right. We've had people, everyone from rappers and dubstep artists and indie rock bands to singer-songwriters, magicians. We just launched a bagpipers tour.
Bagpipes!
And we've had comedians. We've had all types of live performances on our site.
Well, that makes, I mean, it's so logical to do. It's risk-free because if nothing happens, nothing happens.
Yeah, no one gets charged anything. If you only pay a fee to GigFunder if the show actually gets funded. If it's not funded, no one loses anything. Fans don't get charged. You don't get charged. No one gets charged.
So, I mean, if I'm thinking, I want to go to Milwaukee, and I'll put ads in the Milwaukee Journal, and nobody shows up, and I'm out the ads and the venue down payment or whatever the hell it is, right?
Exactly.
And this way, first, I get all the tickets in my hand before I decide to go there. Wow,
exactly.
There's not enough tickets, I don't go, and I know for sure. Man, you took the risk out of touring. How do you take the risk out of touring? But actually, not the touring, but out of setting up a tour and deciding. So you took the risk out of decision making.
That was the whole goal. We wanted to empower the artists to go and like find their fans all over the country. We want to help artists, connect with their fans. We want to like help establish the fan and artist relationship and take out the middleman in the process. And that's what GigFunder is doing. And you can also get more money from your fans. I mean, if you're right now, the average pledge on GigFunder is $57 for a show that the average tickets are $10 to $15.
No kidding. So you're getting an average ticket price of 3 times the average show price. Huh?
You have to give more for it. So maybe you still have a $15 option to buy just a ticket. But then there's for $50, then you get to choose one of the songs of our encore. For $100, then you'll come up on stage and play tambourine or something like that.
Listen,
people are getting really creative. It's really cool.
Now I'm thinking that, hey, how about, because I like educating people, so how about if I went on the site and used my crowd or the crowd to say, hey, I'm going to give a free talk at the library, but I'm going to sell tickets and the money's going to go to like Friends of the Library, or something like that. You could do that. See? And so it's a fundraiser, but it's me as a live performance. I'm deciding where this live performance should be because the crowd will tell me.
It's up to you, yeah.
And then you also handle the money for raising the money for the library. And you write the library check instead of me.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Now that makes fun stuff. So anybody, a teacher, a science guy, or whatever. I call my friend Bill Nye the science guy. He should go around and talk to. He's not actually my friend. Everybody calls me Bill Nye. But
Bill Nye would be perfect for it. People would love to see him talk.
Yeah. See, I mean, that's why anybody. I mean, this is a wonderful thing, not only for bands, because it just eliminates the decision and the uncertainty. And that's why gatekeepers become so important, because everybody thinks they know for certain, but they don't know. They're guessing, So
they don't know.
You know better than them, but you're not sure of it.
Your fans know. Your fans know better than them.
Yeah, see?
Your fans know where you should be going.
Yeah, ask them. Don't ask some fat cat with a cigar. Yeah.
Yeah. Connect with the people that already love you. Don't force it on other people.
Yeah, right. Your ex-wife doesn't want you back. Stay away.
Exactly.
Well, this is a wonderful gig. Anything. GigFunder. So any kind of gig, you're going to be an artist, you're going to be a get-rich-quick scheme guy or anything. You go to GigFunder and find out really where you should be performing. Get all the money in ahead of time. No risk. Man, you're going to put all the talent agents out of business. Good for you.
Thank you, Matthew.
Take care. GigFunder.com.
All right, thanks.
See, now one thing was important he said about that the average ticket price for people who decide where to go and buy a ticket ahead of time is that they pay 3 times as much. Because it's a way to get people to upgrade. Hey, like if it's a band, they say, the regular ticket is $20, but you pay $50, you get to choose what the encore song is and things like that. See, I mean, all these kind of things. So the ticket price is 3 times, the regular going rate. So, I mean, that's another neat thing that you can't do on a regular ticket machine. So, investigate this thing. I mean, you're going to use it someday if you don't use it now. Did you just lose your job? Or maybe you lost your job a little while ago and you're starting to run out of unemployment insurance money or whatever. Well, here's an option that people don't know about. You could get money to live on, like the government will give you a weekly check to live on while you start a business. So you're creating your own job and you don't have to go bang on those doors anymore because you're creating one. And the money you could use to learn how to be an entrepreneur or take courses on entrepreneuring. You could get consulting help, while doing this, so you don't have to go and bang the streets to get a job. You're starting your own business. And it's part of the Department of Labor. Actually, what they call it, this program is under the Workforce Security under the Department of Labor, and it's really for people to, obviously create your own job by starting your own business. And it's not available in every state, so you have to check out the state where you live, to see if it's available there. Now, here's the website, to look for the office locally to you that will tell you what kind of programs they have if you want to be an entrepreneur like that. Because you can't get the job you want or any job. It's servicelocator.org. So www.servicelocator.org. You go to that website and you put in your zip code and it'll show you the offices locally that you can make an appointment and call and find out how to take advantage of this program. Actually that's the same office too if you're looking for a job. They help you write resumes, that you could use their computers. There's even money to train, like you want to be an entrepreneur, like even as a massage therapist, and get like $8,000, $10,000 to become a massage therapist, or you're a computer nut, and you want to learn the new, video editing program or something like that, and that costs a couple $1,000s. So you get money like that to train for you as a small business to get that kind of money. But more importantly, this is money that's set up for you to learn how to be an entrepreneur. So they pay that. But it's not in every state. So go to that servicelocator.org and find out about that program. Okay? It is just a neat thing that people don't know about. They're not going to advertise, so you got to find out about this stuff yourself. So check it out. Well, it looks like you're beating us to the punch of being able to invest in small businesses online. They're doing it already. We're not going to be ready to really get into it in probably another half a year or a whole year. But here's a guy who started a company in Finland that really you could invest in his companies now. Like there's a neat company invented some new technology to help old guys like me keep running. It's for casual runners to keep running for the rest of their life. So new ideas like that, be able to get in on the ground floor of those kind of opportunities, and you'll be able to do that in crowdfunding, not have to go to some fat cat brokerage company and things like that. And what he has on his website, really these websites are really just very little paperwork. Man, it's not a huge prospectus like the Securities and Exchange Commission has here and drowned you in paperwork and lawyers and all that kind of stuff, really stop the transactions versus encouraging them. He's talking about how just in Northern Europe alone there's like 1.5 billion, or actually, I'm sorry, $100 billion sitting in bank accounts not being invested at all. So if we get that extra money, invest in ideas, entrepreneurs, ideas that create jobs and things like that, this is what spurs the economy. We're trying to do that, but we're behind the 8 ball and get this thing done. So Lassie is his name. He's got investor.com. Learn that system, because you can invest if you want, but that's coming here too. You're going to get it here too. But he has all set up for Northern Europe, and this is a country that only has 5 million people. Man, that's like half of New York or something. That's nothing. And they're doing this already. So watch this. Well, Lassie Michaela, you have a great site. If I pronounce it right in your language, investor.com, right?
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
But it's great. Look, you're getting on that wave of everybody's going to do all their investing on the internet, right? Now we could do it from America. We could invest in companies in Sweden and Denmark and Estonia and Finland, and you're going to make it happen for us.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, how does this work? I mean, you know, as an investor in America, I just go on the site and shop for companies like in Walmart.
Well, basically that's it. Yeah, you go to our site and you look what are the companies available there, who's raising funding, and then if you decide to invest, then you do the investment online, completely online.
Now, how complicated is that thing? I mean, it's, you know, I go down to a broker's office, I get a stack of papers and all this kind of stuff, and
yeah, well, I think the issue is the legal
Yeah.
different countries, and in Finland, where we are based, it works quite well. So you don't need to see the legal paperwork.
Oh, really?
You just accept the terms and conditions on the site.
Uh-huh.
It's the investments.
Wow.
But currently our service works for a Finnish, Swedish, Danish, and Estonian companies, as you said before. Who can invest? I'm not a lawyer, as I said.
Right, and I don't play one on TV, right?
but it's sort of basically we can accept investments from different countries around the world.
Wow.
Of course the legal local jurisdiction and the requirements has to be met.
I see. So for whatever it is in your country, then you have to meet those. And as far as you're concerned, anything goes. But you have to meet. Yeah.
Well, actually, we are profiling ourselves really the most professional on this field in Europe. And being the first one here, and we're very happy to
Really? So you're the first online crowd? Is it called investing or just crowdfunding or?
I can specify. So we are the first sort of an open equity-based crowdfunding platform.
I see.
In Northern Europe. I know there are in UK and Netherlands there have been some players before us. Otherwise, we're happy to be quite in the forefront of the progress.
So does this really open it up for more people to get involved, you feel, or is it just the same people making it easier for them to get involved?
Well, I definitely think that this is opening up the market a lot. I'm not talking from the Finland's perspective, but I know that when we are a small country, we have 5 million people. But still, we have about 100 billion euros just lying on the bank accounts of people. And if you can sort of like take 0.1%,
I see,
and put it forward, and it's going to be a massive market locally here. And I'm sure that's the same thing in most of the other countries as well.
So you say you have 100 billion in deposits that are sitting there not doing anything.
Exactly.
And so that a service like this is a way for people to take that, conveniently shop for smart investments to make some of that capital work better for them, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And our target investors, they are really the people who have done investments into shares or mutual funds. So we have some understanding of the investments.
Yes.
That's the area. Of course, we are now seeing more and more local business angels coming in as well, and sort of doing this investment through our service. And we are very happy on that.
Well, I would think too in the States soon, next year when the Jobs Act, and make it easier for people in the state with less income to be involved in investing in growth companies, like they can through you. I mean, it seems like before you have to know somebody at the brokerage house to get involved in these things.
Yeah, that is true. That's a big change. There's also legal change happening in the European community here last summer, which allowed this capital raising possibility up to 1.5 million euros per country without the prospectus or the sort of selling memorandum.
Oh, really? So last summer, the rules changed in the European community where you could raise up to 1.5 million euros without having a prospectus and all that. You cut out the lawyers, didn't you?
Well, I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah, so you don't care.
We have lawyers in our team. So
yes. But I mean, all the people who generated all those prospectuses and the legal jargon, so it made it easier for new ventures to start up and be successful. And I see, guys, you had some interesting companies. I mean, I was telling you earlier about that one who has this new idea for old people to keep running, right? I'm a runner and I'm 70 years old and I love running. I didn't think I could last this long, and I'm still going and look forward to it. So I'm going to look at that company.
Yeah, it was interesting. You just put a clip on your shoes and then a clip on your belt, do the running, and then you go to your computer and look online.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow! Well, that's terrific. And is that a company from Finland or where?
Yeah. It
Yeah.
is from Finland, yeah.
Well, I mean, those Northern Europe companies, European companies. I mean, an incredible amount of ideas that America has been living off for a long time now.
Well, yeah. Yeah, because I think it's because during the half a year we don't really see the sun here.
I see. So you're sitting indoors more, creating ideas, huh? Well, we need them. So what are some of your other favorite little companies that are on your site?
Well, there's an interesting company sort of working on it's a brewery restaurant, local brewery.
A brewery restaurant. Ah.
So you can become an owner of brewery. So
Oh, really? Well, that's fun. So I walk in, not only have a beer, but I'm an owner.
well, that happens all the time as well.
Right.
It's funny to see the people when they come to the restaurant, they come with their friends then.
I see. And they're a big shot because they're an owner. Well, that's wonderful. Well, Lassie, I think it's a great site. I think we need more things like this, all over the world. And whether you're in Finland or the United States, it doesn't matter. It's a flat world. And money goes to the best ideas, and that's what you're doing. And thank you for doing this. And I know it's going to be even explode next year when we could be more involved, in this country, than they are. How'd you guys get ahead of us in this? That's what I don't understand.
You can say it's the legal system, right?
Right. You mean we got more lawyers? Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Sorry.
The additional thing still is the interesting sort of detail is that there's actually two local wealth management companies who have invested into Investor as well.
Ah.
So we are trying to sort of bridge this gap between traditional investments and then this
Wealth management. So you're also a money manager for your assets, personal assets.
Well, not us, but our sort of owners of the two owners of Investor who are in the traditional wealth management business.
I see.
The private banking business.
Mm-hmm.
So what we are hoping to establish is to bring sort of build this bridge between
I see.
traditional investments and growth companies.
So so they would be for the growth companies or for the investors to also use?
Well, basically, it means that we will be seeing in the customer happenings and customer communication of the wealth management companies, and we will be telling them that, well, any respectable investor, in your portfolio, you should have at least 5 to 10%.
Ah.
In the non-listed shares.
I see. So in the wealth management partners will be a vehicle for funds for your crowdsourcing, you mean?
Yeah, that's what we are building.
That's partnerships that really mean something, right? Not just a pretty face, but somebody who can bring you customers, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful. But I see your background. You went to school in England and studied financial management. Most of your life, it looks like.
Yeah, exactly. I started my work as an investment banker at Merrill Lynch in London. And from there, I was about 4 years in London, and then 4 years in Helsinki. And after that, I've been working for industry in finance and acquisition side of the business.
So you know both ends, giving money and getting money, huh?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's also one of the reasons why I'm so excited about this possibility, is that you can actually bring these sort of ideas from a bigger sort of companies and bigger financial world to smaller companies and make it really help.
Well, I think that's the big guys you don't have to worry about. It's the medium and small people that really to create, our future. The big guys are really, created the past. That's how they got big. Now we got to create the future, and that's what you're doing with investor.com. creating our future for the rest of the world. Well, thank you so much, Lassie, and good luck to you, and we'll be investing in you from the Americas, okay?
Excellent. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye-bye.
See, so you can go to Northern Europe and invest in pubs or a brewery or anything right from your PC. Yeah, and that's what's neat about the world. It's become flat. There are opportunities all over. It doesn't have to be in your neighborhood. It can be in your neighborhood, or it can be halfway across the world. It's a neat life we're living in, and the more you learn about it, the more you can take advantage of it. There's a lot of people out there still in a whole lot of trouble with their rent or mortgage, and you may be one of them, or you may know somebody, that is one of them. So listen up to this. Now at the state governments, there's a lot of programs to help you. You could get like $30,000 to pay your mortgage or even your rent payments, up to that much. And you could be making zero money or even up to $90,000 a year in income and still get that kind of money to help with your mortgage. And they're different in every state government, so you got to check your state. Like here in Delaware, they have a program called Homeowners Relief Program, and that's where if you're over 90 days on your mortgage, you're eligible for this, and that's up to 30 days, up to $30,000. I'm sorry, to get there. They also, for people in mobile homes, manufactured homes, they have a program there where you get up to $5,000 to make your rental payment even, or if you own it, to make the mortgage payment on your mobile home. Now, who would have thought? Now, there's also programs they have that mediation. So they will get, these are free help. You're not getting a lawyer going to charge you tens of thousands or hundreds of dollars or whatever that will mediate your mortgage with you with your mortgage company. Now that's a terrific thing, because you call these people up and you don't know how to deal with them. They do this all the time. They're armed to the teeth to get the best benefit for them. And this is the first time you've ever done this. So you need that kind of help. And you can get that for free. Now that's usually, the place to find these is at your state capital. And the organizations are your state housing financing agency. And a good way to find them, if you have trouble finding them, is there's a National Council of State Housing Agencies. And there's a big map of the country, and you can find out your agency in your state, or send that link to other people, friends who have a problem paying their rent or mortgage or whatever. And that's they're part of the National Council of State Housing Agencies. So that's the National Council of State Housing Agencies. That's the website. And the initials are www.ncsha.org and then /housing-help. So on their website there, it's ncsha.org/housing-help. There's a lot of dashes and slashes. So you go there and find your local office. If you have trouble, it's called, you're looking for the State Housing Financing Agency. They're the people who help. You got to find out what's in your state, so you don't lose your home or take advantage of these programs. It's money. There's a lot of money out there. So start using it. Now, wouldn't it be great if we got rid of all these hotshot financial institutions that really almost crumbled our economy, and that's set up for the fat cats, and we had a real financial system that helped small business and middle-sized business, to get money to do their ideas. Well, let me introduce you to Simon. And actually, Simon is a guy, he's Simon Dixon, and he's from the United Kingdom, England, he's actually in London. Now, he was a big investment banker guy, and he said, gosh, we should always have this. We should have a banking system for the little guy, to get money, or to start their idea or whatever, and not all these expensive gatekeepers. Well, he set up something online now called Bank to the Future. right? It's a hot item too. It's going to be here soon. You know, you could invest in it now, but it's hard to get money out of it, you know, for a few more months. But watch this, because this is what's happening. You know, the web is democratizing, you know, the financial structure of our economy too. And they're doing it actually even faster in Europe than they are here. Now, next year, we're going to catch up with them, because the new Jobs Act, which is a law a couple of years ago that was passed, is going to allow the average person now to invest on the internet. So you got to start learning this, because this is where the money's going, and this is where entrepreneurship is going. Anybody wants to start a business or expand a business or even invest in businesses, because now you don't have to be a fat cat hanging around the country club and look for insider ideas. You can get them right on the web and invest that way. So watch what's happening out there. Watch Simon tell you about it. And you're Simon Dixon, right? And you're the founder of the Bank of the Future? Man, it sounds like a new movie coming out. Tell us, you know, it sounds really neat. How can somebody use this thing?
So Bank of the Future, well, originally the mission behind it was that I was a bank lobbyist. I wanted to make some change.
Oh, one of those.
Yes, from a positive angle, because I'm an ex-investment banker myself.
Okay.
So we had an ideology of the world that we wanted to get out there. And eventually my wife got so fed up with me whinging about not making any progress to changing banks that she said, why don't we create our own?
I see, wonderful.
And Bank to the Future is not actually a bank right now. We want it to be. We're in that process, but there's no fast way of creating a bank. So what we decided to do was solve a very real problem, which is the fact that access to finance for small to medium-sized businesses, they're finding it hard to get it.
Yes.
And secondly, we wanted to democratize investing, so you don't have to be rich to be a rich dragon or angel investor. we wanted to move to a world where anybody could fund the businesses that they wanted to fund.
I see.
And it could be funded based upon shared ideology.
So in other words, you don't have to be an insider to get the next Facebook or something like that. You can find it yourself and get right on the ground floor, huh?
Absolutely. The world we're passionate about creating is a world where it's not venture capitalists, it's not banks, it's not just rich people determining who gets funded. It's anybody determining who gets funded. So now people are the banks, people are the angel investors, and people are the venture capitalists.
So you were a bank lobbyist and decided you want to change the banking industry? You just went and did it, huh?
Yeah, well, just started. I mean, my first introduction was banking was actually getting rejected from 96 banks for a job. So I started as a T-boy, worked my way up. A few years later, I was an investment banker. But no, you just start somewhere and you build something and you figure out what your mission and purpose is. And then you just get on with it, and you tend to attract the people around you that can make that happen. Lots of challenges along the way, don't get me wrong.
Oh, of course. If there weren't, you wouldn't get up in the morning here. Listen, is this useful for people in the USA?
At the moment, not so useful for people in the USA. However,
we could steal your idea, right, and do it here?
Sorry?
Can we steal your idea and do it here?
Well, it's actually illegal in the States as we speak. The SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission, and Obama is actually changing the law as we speak to facilitate this in the States. So for the first time, we're doing something that Silicon Valley can't do yet.
Wow. Well, can I, as a U.S. citizen, invest in companies there?
So you can invest in some of the British companies. There's some regulatory challenges around that. But you have to take responsibility for understanding the law, and I've got to put the disclaimers out there. We're in a regulated environment, so therefore we have to put you through the risk warnings and mitigate responsibilities.
Well, I mean, you would do that here if you invested in something too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, how about, so if I wanted to fund on that, I would have to start my business in the UK. Is that correct?
Yeah, so currently it took us a year and a half just to navigate the UK regulatory framework.
You're just
and
like us.
Create essentially a process, the complete opposite of what has currently been done in financial services. So at the moment, you have to be a UK limited company. We've got aggressive plans that we'd love to, but you have to take one country at a time at the moment. It's not as simple as just expanding Facebook anywhere.
I understand. So from the U.S. side, I mean, to me, it would be like, this is something to look at because we're going to have it eventually soon because it sounds like a hot idea you have. So
Yeah.
we should watch what you're doing, learn the techniques because it's going to be here soon. Will you be able to? I mean, I understand the laws sort of change in 2014. Will that make it easier for us to invest in you or not?
Yeah, so there's something called the Jobs Act, which is making investing in companies online a lot easier. And we're looking for creative partners at the moment that would like to work with Bank to the Future to get us out in the States as well. So if anyone's interested in that opportunity, we'd love to hear.
So now you found a way we could really work together.
Absolutely.
So you're looking for, so this will be likely in the States, come January when that jobs thing comes on with the new regulations about private investing, right, in companies. Yeah. Well, that's a wonderful. So you were a ex-lobbyist, hate the bank, and you're creating a bank of the future, which is a wonderful name. And you even got Richard Branson on your front page of your website to give you sprinkle the holy water on you. So you must be going to take off with this thing. It's just a brilliant idea, and I'm just sorry that we can't invest in there, and all we can do is watch you.
Well, it's an idea whose time has come. So, we're in an environment right now where, traditional ways of investing aren't working so well anymore. There's record levels of frustration with traditional institutions like banks. But the internet and social media has really produced all the tools one would need to actually completely change the financial system. And there's lots of disruptive companies like ourselves that are looking to actually facilitate change. I've been working, top down for a long time. Now it's time for some bottom up change. And the thing that I love about entrepreneurs and businesses is that, you can come up with things and you can make such a huge impact in business. The thing that's held them back in the past is access to finance. So if we can solve that, then we can get lots and lots of businesses set up that can facilitate many of the changes that need to happen in the world. And you get a lot of influence if you can get lots of people behind you. And now is the only day in history where we have access to global television networks through Skype and YouTube, and the only day in history where we can, reach a million people on Facebook and Twitter. It's a game changer. And now when those changes meet finance, and the fact that it's cheaper than ever to be in business as well, thanks to these tools, because Silicon Valley's paying the bills for us all to do that. We're in this unique time in history. So don't believe all the negativity out there. There's some big changes that need to happen.
Absolutely.
But all it is change. That's what it is. It's redistribution.
It's change, whether you like it or not, and it's positive because it's getting rid of all those rich middle guys.
Absolutely, and we've got the perfect opportunity now to, redistribute wealth.
Absolutely.
Across.
Why wait for the government to figure it out when you could do it yourself, right?
Well, we need both of us, but if you want to be more proactive in your approach, today's the time to do it.
Yeah. Well, you're a wonderful chap. Thank you so much for doing what you're doing and trying to democratize investing and getting resources to small business and getting rid of these middlemen. I never knew what the heck they did except collect large commissions anyway.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for being a breath of fresh air and doing what you're doing.
I enjoy it. I'm going to do it till I die. That's what's so neat. You're going to help other people find what they want to really do in life.
Absolutely.
Take care, Simon.
Bye-bye.
See, tally ho, it's off. Off to the bank to the future. Yeah, start learning what's going on. I mean, I think there's a lot of exciting things going on in the world, and it's going to be restructuring a lot because of what's going on the internet, and it's fun stuff going out there. The dinosaurs are probably had their days. You got to look for the small guys coming up. Well, how'd you like to get $40,000 of disaster assistance money and you weren't even in a disaster? It sounds silly, but it's true. And actually what it is, the government has a great website. If you know of anybody who's been affected by any of the disasters recently, there's a great website. You could apply for money online. But those that are not affected can do that too. If you go to disasterassistance.gov, that's it, disasterassistance.gov. And there it says, then there's a button that says find assistance with a little arrow on it. You just click that. And then you go over and it has just fill in the blanks kind of thing. You press the buttons like, what do you need money for? Employment, housing, financial money, legal help, food, medical, stuff like that. Actually, just press them all to begin. Because what I want to show you is all the stuff they have. Whether you have a disaster or not. See, that's the important thing. And then if you own a house or rent, press them both just to see what the heck's there. And then go on. And then you click and you'll see on the side, if you click most of the buttons, you'll see like 41 different programs. And then you click, I want to see those programs, and then there they are. And there's a lot of, all the disaster relief programs. I mean, they give you money to live on, fix up your house and things like that, or money for your business because you're affected by the disaster. All these programs are really there that are especially for that. But then they have other ones too that you could take advantage of, even if you're not in a disaster, because the same, like a HUD program, a 203 program, is the same money for disaster or not disasters. So if you want to fix up your bathroom or something, you get up to $40,000, to fix up your bathroom, or the business and industrial loan money. They use that, it's something for disasters, but it's also for non-disasters. See, what's neat about this database, it's stuff you didn't even know about. And that's what's cool about this program. That's to me the biggest thing. That's why we're at question mark too. People don't know what to ask for. How do you know what to ask for if you don't know what's there? And all the other programs that are available, scholarships. Look at the list there. They'll list them: scholarship, living expenses, legal advice, insurance, loan repayment, veterans on active duty only. So it's a great website just to start finding out what may be there for you. That's the whole thing. Trying to find out. So when the government makes it easy for you, man, take advantage of it. So that's disasterassistance.gov. Play around a little bit. It's better than looking at YouTube videos. Okay, now I'd like you to meet, her name is Vedlina Tereskina. Isn't that a wonderful name? Actually, she's a young lady from Russia, and she started, probably is the first crowdfunding site in Russia. And listen to this, she calls it for social enterprises. Right, social, so she's trying to do good social work in Russia. And when I grew up, like in the 50s and 60s, I thought Russia was the biggest socialist country in the world. And why do they need more social programs? But they do. We're all trying to help each other. And so her website is really aimed at Russians and people outside of Russia who are interested in helping the country, because apparently the big cities or some of the regions are doing well, others are not well. So they're like programs where farmers are teaching orphanage kids how to farm and support themselves and things like that, but also for entrepreneuring, IT companies. And so you have an interest in Russia, or you want to know how crowdfunding starts in a country like Russia, this is a lady who's starting it. So watch this and learn about all this stuff. You have to learn to grow. So start learning. She's going to teach you a lot. Okay, and we have the beautiful look at, I've screwed it up already. Vedlina Tereskina. It's close enough for Skype, all right. And you have this wonderful organization called Rusini.org. It's a Russian crowdfunding source to help social and creative projects in Russia to be financed by people in Russia and Russians outside of Russia, right? Exactly. And you're a student working on your PhD, but this seems to be the love of your life and an important thing for people in Russia. Are you the first crowdfunding site in Russia?
We were one of the first, yes.
Really? Well, good for you. High five from across the world here. Well, that's terrific. So now, but you have an interesting thing. You say that in Russia, the problem is trust. Like a lot of people don't trust organizations, I guess, and things like that. So your crowdfunding site builds up the trust with people. How does that work?
Exactly. We have a control mechanism. So the first project you can create on the platform is limited to 1,000 euros. After that, basically they have to report on all the money they spent, and only then they can get a high amount of money.
I see. So, I mean, the projects are social, responsible kind of projects, you know, education for kids and things like that, right? And they go on your site, and other Russians outside of the country or actually a non-Russian could really contribute too, right?
As well, yes.
Yeah. You'll take anybody's money. You don't care. What happened to that idealism? And so, but then their first project on the site is limited to 1,000 euros. Huh? Well, that's wonderful, and that builds up trust. And then, and then they have to report back how they spent the money, and then you see.
And only after that they can get a 2,000 euros, for example, or 3,000 euros. So
I see, and then it'll grow from there. Oh, well, that's a very sensible and smart thing to do. And to me, as I mentioned earlier, it's sort of like the first date is just having coffee before you go to dinner and a movie.
From there, exactly.
Yeah, well, that's a wonderful thing to have. And so what kind of projects are you getting now?
We have mostly social enterprises, which are working with children or environmental issues or different kind of issues. And then we have creative projects, so movies and music as well, and then we have startups as well.
Oh, so you have entrepreneur startup businesses, yeah? What kind of businesses are they starting in Europe or in Russia? Is it like IT businesses, or is it dry cleaners, or what?
Mostly IT businesses, because people are more aware than of crowdfunding and that exists. So not yet. It's went through to like average business basically. Right,
I see. So now you're an IT business. So I could help somebody start an IT business, and then is it like other, because a lot of your site is in Russian, it was a little difficult, so that's why it's really aimed at Russians outside of Russia. But I guess we have, at least in the United States, so many people that study the language and probably have a simpatico with the culture and would be interested in investing too, which is good to have. But how about a social, social enterprise? An example. What would a social enterprise do in Russia?
Lots of stuff. They work with disabled people, and they work with children a lot from disadvantaged backgrounds. There's one very good example: a farmer who takes children from orphanage homes and he teaches them to grow stuff.
Really?
So they can sell it then after, and
they can feed themselves.
And he can then feed them and educate them further.
Wow.
So there are a few good examples of working with children, actually.
Wow. So so he teaches children how to grow food, and they could sell their product and learn an income for themselves and learn how to feed themselves. I mean, that's a growing business here in the United States. Locally grown food is booming in our country, and organic farming, that's probably natural to you guys over there, but here,
no, but it's coming back a bit,
Right, it's all that kind of thing. Wow. And so people, it works like a normal site that you find projects you're interested in investing in, and you commit X number of dollars. And do they have, like here, when you pledge the money, they give t-shirts or things like that. Do you have the same kind of thing?
Yeah, they get a small reward basically.
I see.
For example, the children can draw something from them, so something symbolic. Or they get the tickets for the show or whatever.
Oh, I see. So it's not all nested dolls I'll get or something like that, right? I'm sorry to be so tacky American. Illiterate in other people's culture is really what it boils down to. That's why very few people in the United States have passports. I mean, like 10-15%. Nobody travels in this country. We think the whole world is like us, And that's what's so great about the internet. Now we could learn about, crowdfunding in Russia, and that you have problems just like we do. And and you have poor people like we do who need help, and problems that have to be solved, and you're there to help them, and that's so wonderful. And it's so funny when you said earlier that there's not many social organizations in Russia. And I was thinking, God, that's the first thing I knew about Russia was being socialist. The biggest socialist country in the world, and they have no social enterprises. So you're here to solve that problem.
Starting now, yeah. No, one big difference is basically that there are many regional differences within Russia. So it's not like in US, people don't help everybody.
I see.
That's what we're trying to do as well. We specialize in regions. So we try to get projects which are local, to get supported by local people.
No people, yeah.
That's as well how you get the trust, because they can see that something happened.
Right.
They can reinvest basically again.
Don't worry about Big Brother Washington and Moscow, right?
That's what we're trying to do, yes.
Yeah.
The local regions, because that's where the problems are, and there are not so many problems in Moscow.
Right.
There as well,
Right, different kind.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that sounds like us. I mean, back on the States, we're trying to local, and that's what crowdfunding does for us, local people helping solving local problems. So we are very much alike. Everybody is. We're all just struggling to survive, and it's nice to have an organization like you that know that people in Russia have the same problems we do. And the website is Rusini, R-U-S-I-N-I, and that means Russia. What is that short for?
Russian initiatives.
Russia Initiative. Oh, wonderful for you being the Russian that's doing the Russian initiative and making Russia socialized. I understand. That's cute. Well, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge, and I wish you the best. And it's nice to have young people like you trying to solve problems in the world, and allowing me in America to talk to you and share that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
See? So if you know somebody's Russian, yeah, and wants to help the old country, the mother country or whatever, pass the link along. You know, it's going to help her. And you see that she's really trying to do good in the world. Help her her country, you know, to develop more. I mean, we all have problems, whether it's Russia or the United States or whatever, and we all need help. So, and we all have to help each other. And so if you're interested in Russia, this is a way to learn. Keep learning. That's what's neat in life. Keep learning, you keep growing. Keep growing till you die.